What is up, racers? Welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo Sport. Today we are doing some last two question mark challenges. So starting as close to the back as possible, not setting a qualifying time and then seeing how far we can fight through the pack. So 5 laps around Sardinia B in the Group 3 cars. The OP car was the Audi R8, so we're going to use that car to our advantage. And to be honest, while doing these races, the level of racing was pretty darn clean. Not always, there are a couple of incidents as you would expect from one of my videos, but to be honest, very clean. So turn 1, on the left of the Russian, for some reason he stopped braking, so there you go, realmed himself, and dodging a rejoining Jaguar gives us 2 positions on turns 1 and 2 behind the Austrian. Then going to look up the inside into the double apex right-hander later on the brakes, but he is still there, so we have to make sure we don't run wide and push him off the track, and that's us up to 10th position. Entering the corner a little bit later on the apex, trying to get a better run out of the corner, but nowhere to go, so we just go into the back of the purple Porsche in front of us. And that is the biggest challenge facing any driver trying to do these last question mark challenges, is choosing when to go past opponents or how to overtake, as typically in these kind of lobbies the drivers are more erratic. We get the cutback on the purple Porsche there. Now we are behind Bacardi Boy 1801, and he just runs wide, gets sucked off into that sand there. Very tricky place to get on the power nice and early, nice and confidently. Coming through the last corners on the track then, that is going to see us in 8th position, so that's a bloody good first lap if you ask me, and we're behind the Belgian in the Mercedes in front of us. So around 7 seconds to the Spaniard in first position then, and when we started the race we were around 7 seconds as well, so not too much time was lost over that first lap battling and overtaking with the other cars. Following the Belgian driver through turns 1 and 2, he's going to just abuse the track limits just a little bit too much and receive a 0.5 second penalty. He also got a poor run out of turn 2, and we're just going to poke our nose up the inside into turn 3, forcing him to that wider line. There is a little bit of contact there, but we are going to be able to put it up the inside into the next corner there, and that is the job done. And we go about chasing down 5th position. It does take a while, but on lap 4 the Finnish driver is just going to get all out of sorts and go for a little spin there, and that's us up into 5th position, and we try and catch up with 4th, but there wasn't enough time. We did catch him just a little bit, but there we go. That is going to be a 5th position in our first attempt on these last question mark challenge. So what can we do in race 2? Starting in 15th then, what can we do in this one? Coming into turn 1 and 2, you know, sometimes you just get those feelings. You get your like spidey senses start tingling, and I don't know how to explain it, but it happened just here. Coming into turn 1 and 2 then, spidey senses tingling, and there you go, there goes the Spaniard. I was able to use the radar in the bottom right and the use of the chase cam to see around us. I think this view gives you much more visibility and allows you to be more aware as we send up the inside of the German. But that's for another video, another topic of talk, and close up to the back of the Ferrari in front of us, looking up the inside, sticking it to the apex. He does very well about not turning into us, but he's just going to get a little bit loose on the Astro on the edge of the track there and slide and make contact with us, but that's fine, all regained, and I don't think we're going to lose the position for it. So up to 13th in the first couple of corners is pretty good as we come around this sweeping left-hander into 2nd gear on the power as soon as possible without running wide on the right there into the gravel. And then the deceptive right-hand corner where we see most of the incidents happen on the track, as we see one driver there highlighting it so perfectly for me. Thank you, sir, for doing that, as you can, you know, run into that wall. Right behind the Frenchman in the Beetle then, and this is what I mean about overtaking cars as we go through this. He wasn't really keeping the inside, he wasn't keeping the outside, so I didn't know where to go myself. So there was a little bit of contact there, but not enough to warrant him actually driving off of the track. So I think that one's on you, Frenchie. So up to 11th on the first lap. That is a good start. Not as good as the first race, but you know. But this time we are further away from the leader, so we've got a couple more faster drivers towards the front of the track as we just miss that French guy taking a spin on turn 1. A lot of incidents on that corner as well. That is where a lot of time is gained on this track. OJuice77 then, the next on the list, and he is in the Z4 of all cars. Now we all know that the Z4 is really, really fun to drive. It's just not fast in comparison with mainly every other car. But we get a little bit of a slide coming out of that corner, but we do have the slipstream to pull us along that back straight. Keeping it in 4th instead of changing to 5th will keep your speed higher through that corner as we just go up the inside. The space was there and he allowed us to make the move. Another solid move done, up to 9th position. And we have a couple of Germans and Spaniards in front of us here, and this is where it's going to get nice and juicy. So catching up to the back of them at the end of the start-finish straight as we begin lap 3. One driver is just going to have a little bit of a spin there. He's out of it, and a Croatian driver slow on the inside. Not really anywhere for us to go. Are we going to look up the inside? Not really there. He's holding a good line. But we do get a nice run on the outside into this tight left-hand corner here. Later on the brakes, just sees us hold that position. He does turn in and hit us. I'm glad he didn't go off the track, otherwise we would have probably got a penalty there. Now all eyes focus on Günther Mädel, the German driver in front. He is going to absolutely throw his toys out of the pram over the next lap and a half, and we're going to add him to the list, boys. Add him to the crap list. So here we go. First bit of contact there, just a little nudge in the back, nothing doing there. Second bit of contact, that is my fault. I will hold my hands up for that. So that's 2, yes, orange SR, I will accept that as well. But all of what is leading up to what he does doesn't exempt him from doing what he does. Please, if you are a GT Sport drive out there, do not do what this German is going to do. Please. Anyway, following on to the start-finish straight then, firmly in the suck zone of the German in front. Now here, in effect, we have a triple slipstream as they're all sucking off each other in front of us, so we would be the ones to go faster in this train of cars. But I'm just going to lift off, just going to give them space as we come through turns 1 and 2. Gunther there just going a little bit wide, a little bit of a awkward situation as we are then tapped into Günther in front of us, so that is now 3 times we have made contact with him. The rage builds within him. There we go, tap number 4, tap number 5, and just one more for luck. There we go, tap number 6, and here it is. He's had enough and he tries to brake check me, but I read it and go around him. There we go, obviously braking way too early for the corner. Flames spit out of his Audi in rage. And to be honest, I kind of knew what was coming, and there is no way for me to get out of this situation at all. We've gone past him. He already tried to brake check us, and there we go. Realmed by Günther Mädel. So, what do you think about that one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I don't really think that you should ever do that at all. Obviously, that was out of aggression, and he's got a penalty for it as well, but yes, there was multiple contact over the space of not even a lap, so obviously he's a very, very angry person. Could I have done anything differently? Yeah, I could have avoided those contacts by not hitting into him, obviously. But it's one of those things. I don't think punting someone out of aggression is ever a good thing. Punting people out of revenge for redemption, though, I agree with. As he comes out of the ghost at the worst possible time, and big on thought, have fun in the realm. We managed to hold it ourselves and keep our place up into 7th position. Obviously, some of you are going to disagree with that, but I think for revenge, for people who have specifically to ruin someone else's race, probably out of anger, they are liable to be punted themselves. But what do you think? That's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments section below whether I was in the right or wrong to do that to him. Obviously, he's not a happy bunny and he's flashing his lights in anger once again behind us. But I was going to say something to him after in the lobby, but he just left. And you know, that is a common trait of a rammer, is that they just leave straight after the race is done because they know deep down that they are in the wrong. But here we go, final lap, and we've got OJuice77 once again in front of us. Can we hunt him down and get past him before the final checkered flag? I know I've got the speed on him. We've already overtaken him once in this race, so we just need to put in some good, consistent corners towards the end. Running a little bit wide there, but we are on the power nice and early. And into this right-hander, OJuice gets his tyres caught on the inside curve, and that nearly spins him around. But now we have the run on him. I'm going to start wider, late apex this first right-hander, so we get the cutback and the inside for the final corner. Late on the brakes, hitting the apex nicely, and that is going to be us up into 6th position. So that move there, I actually thought about a couple of corners beforehand. You know, I had to use that right-hander to give me the inside on the final corner. It's all about thinking, all about that little bit of tactics. So there we go, a 6th position and a nice bit of racecraft shown at the end as well. So last race, we are starting in 16th, so the back of the back, as far back as we can go. Let's see how far we can climb. So coming into turn 1 and turn 2, as the Spaniard goes very, very early on the brakes, and we have to send it up the inside. He doesn't realise, turns into us, dodging a ghosted Belgian there as well. Can we go about sending it up the inside of the dodge? Yes, we can. And look at how close the driving is here. No contact there at all. And this is what I mean. The stereotype of a lower lobby player has a very negative connotation to it. But they can drive very, very cleanly. It's just, unfortunately, drivers like the German in the previous race, they are the ones who get noticed. Everything that is negative gets noticed more than stuff that's positive. We go past the Lexus there. He broke on that corner for some reason, and we are shown the orange SR down arrow for what I can only assume is for overtaking in too awesome of a style. Through the right corner then, and how many oopsies? One. There's a second, and a penalty being served as well, so that is going to be us up to 9th position at the end of the first lap. Not too bad. So in between the first race and the second race, we are in 9th position, looking pretty good, as the time to the leaders as well is under 6 seconds. So that is the closest we have been thus far. So in the slipstream of the yellow Porsche in front of us, Bobby Dazzler RS. Are we going to throw it up the inside into T1? No, we're not close enough. He's going to outbrake himself and just run too wide over to the left, and that's going to be us up into 8th position. Now closing down the Polish driver in front of us, who has 1 bar of connection, which is not good for us because we do want to be getting past him as quick as possible, and if he's going to be jerking around, that is going to make it very, very difficult. Can't see him jerking around though. He looks pretty solid in my eyes, as he's just going to run a little bit wide, and we're going to make contact with him as he ghosts. So that was a very, very weird contact there. Obviously SR down for contacting with a ghost. Onto the start-finish straight then, as we come across to complete our second lap. We are firmly in the slipstream of the Spaniard in the 911. We move to the inside. Audi just a little bit faster in a straight line, it seems, as we go into turn 1. He holds it for as long as possible on the outside, but then makes a smart decision and just filters in behind us. And just comparing that to a stupid person, a stupid driver would have continually battled through the whole of that corner and then lost us both a lot of time. So well done. Very, very smart there, Mr. Spaniard. 6th position is ours now, and we go about chasing down the Portuguese driver in front of us, and as he comes through this corner here, he's just going to find himself in exactly the same position as that Polish player the lap before, just running wide, getting caught up in the gravel and spinning around. End of lap 4 then, we see the Swiss player in front of us has made a mistake and is confused as I am as whether to defend on the inside or the outside or just get out of my way. Whatever it is, we get through the ghost nice and easy, and we're in 4th position and now hunting down the Spaniard in the Beetle in front of us. Now this last lap is a prime example of how hard it is to get past someone when you don't know how they drive, or they're driving slightly different to how you drive. For some reason he goes narrow into T1, which is going to mess up his run through turn 1 and into turn 2, so we're going to be all over the back of him as we come through into turn 3. He's going to take a defensive line, which is the good thing to do there, the smart idea. I get the better run, but there's nowhere to go, so I just go into the back of his car, and much alike the incident with the German here, he's just going to go much slower than me on the apex, and I don't react to it, so we give him a little tap in the booty for it. A little slap on the wrist then from the orange SR, the Swiss player not giving up though, as he appears in the bottom of our screen, only for a moment, as we are in the slipstream of the Spaniard coming up the back straight. Very heavy on the brakes coming into this left-hander there and getting as close as we possibly can to the back of that car. Now what I want to do is I want to set up for the same move we did in that earlier race. So once again, thinking about a move a couple of corners before it actually happens. We don't get the best run out, but we do start nice and wide, wider than he does, and that's going to open up the space on the right side of his car, and we're going to late brake into that final corner and hitting the apex nicely. As we come out of the corner, there's going to be nowhere for him to go, and that is going to cement our position on the podium. So 3 pretty darn good races, to be honest. A lot of incidents, a lot of overtakes, and the most important thing is that I had fun. I look forward to seeing your comments below about the incidents in the race, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. So thank you so much for watching, liking and subscribing. Thank you to the channel members who are absolute bloody legends, and we'll see you in the next one.